Today we are going to review Overlord Urshifu over here, and also its Super Dynamax form. Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and over here as you guys can see, Urshifu, or Urshifu, it's already ready for a battle. First of all, we are going to try Urshifu with a normal held item, and after that we have over here the double star held item for Urshifu. This held item will change his skills, does not need to be double star. If you have a +5 held item, it will also change his skills, but we will take a look at that in a minute. First of all, let's do a quick review on his moves. He has a very specific second ability, which is our Pokemon are immune to debuffs and control effects, so this is basically a safeguard and a holy body all in one, and increases 20% speed, physical attack, special attack, hit and hit damage, and 20% damage reduction for 3 rounds. This effect cannot be dispelled. He also has his own dream ability. As we can see, on level 10 increases his own physical attack by 15%, and there's a 50% chance to get 1 layer of Urshifu's exclusive combo effect after releasing water type skills. He has 2 water type skills, Aqua Jet and Surging Strikes, and also 2 fighting type skills, one that is a damage dealer, Focus Punch, and the other one which is a buff called Concentrate. Starting with the passive, when any other allied water type Pokemon is attacked, removes a debuff. I'm not sure how useful is this because his second ability already says that all of your Pokemons are immune to debuffs, but the second part of the passive is decent. Dispel Guardian Soul and Shield from a random enemy Pokemon before each move. Skill number 1, Aqua Jet, only 40 skill power, which is kinda weak. Every other 1 tier of the Urshifu's combo effect increases the damage by 20%. If he has 3 of those stacks of buff, increases crit damage by 100%, and 5 stacks of buff increases the crit rate by extra 100%. 1 tier of this combo effect, or 1 tier of this buff, is consumed after release, so it's basically just a water type skill, and as we can see, nothing else special. Now, this exclusive combo effect that we can see, I'm going to use the buffs just so that you guys can see. It's this icon over here, okay? This is the buff of Urshifu, and basically what this means is that for each stack, he will deal 20% more damage on basically all the skills, except the fighting one, this Focus Punch. Everything else, like the ultimate, as we can see over here, increases damage by 20% for each stack, and the water one as well, to damage by 20% for each stack. The only difference over here on the Z Aqua Jet is that it also deals Reaper damage. Skill number 2, our own buff, which is basically getting 2 tiers of our Urshifu buff over here. We just use it, as you guys can see, we now have 2 tiers. I'm just going to use Kyogre buff over here, and the only big difference over here on the Z Concentrate is that you get a 20% max HP shield. As you can see over there, we got a shield, that's basically it. Skill number 3, just a normal fighting type skill with 80 skill power. It's single target and increases your own tier of Urshifu combo effect, which cannot be dispelled. So this one is actually, while the first one actually removes 1 tier of your own buff, this one actually increases 1 tier of your own buff. So we are going to use it, and as we can see over there, there's 1 tier of our own buff. The Z Focus Punch can be useful to deal a little bit more damage, and also increases 3 more tiers of your own buff, so we should end up with 4, which is just exactly what happens. Now going to the ultimate, his biggest damage dealer move, which is a single target with 100 skill power. It has basically the same passive as the first attack, which is 20% more damage for each stack of buff that the Urshifu has, right? If he has 3 stacks of buff, increases your crit damage by 100%, and also if you have 5 tiers of your or 5 stacks of your own buff, increases your crit rate. The only difference between the normal ultimate and the Z ultimate is that the Z ultimate actually deals 1 times restriction at least, which means that even if the enemy, in this case I'm going to attack a Greninja, he is a water type, so technically I should be doing less damage, or he should be resistant to it. It should show something like, if I go and attack, for example, this one over here, it's actually set crit, but that's because the enemy he's a little bit weak, so it's easy to crit, but he should be resistant to it. So technically, the only difference on the ultimate is that removes those resistances. It hits for at least 1x. Now, not gonna lie, I've been playing with Overlord Kyogre because Urshifu is a fighting water type, so we also have a reason over here for the fighting type skill damage. So I'm going to use, for example, Volcanion support, going to use the Z buff from Mr. Kyogre. Now, our Urshifu is going to move. I don't have any single stacks of buff, not a single one. So I'm actually going to start with a Z Focus Punch. Remember, I don't have held item. I'm not doing any damage at all. It's okay. I am actually trying to go for the 5 stacks instead to see if I am doing something. So we have the 5 stacks, and hopefully now using the ultimate. Yes, at least the ultimate, I know it deals damage. And just as an example, okay, imagine that I am not going to stack up my passive, for example, and I'm just going to, I don't know, attempt to deal damage in different ways. For example, over here, let's just go and try to deal damage in a different way. And as you guys can see, the other skills, they don't deal much, and even though it feels like you really need to stack your passive, your Urshifu buff, to be able to deal some damage. I kinda like the crit rate that this Pokemon has, but damage-wise, it feels like only the ultimate deals damage. This could be potentially a very good skill, the Aqua Jet, but its skill power is only 40, and that's so weak. It feels like very weak. If it would be 80 probably, I think 80 would be quite decent, even though it might feel still low, but 40 skill power is just super weak. Now, if we go and equip the held item, we can see that our skills actually got something a little bit different. This is because when you equip the held item, you actually get the skills of the Dynamax itself. So all the skills that you see over here from the Super Dynamax will basically be the same skills of this Overlord Urshifu. So right now we have exactly the same skills, and as we can see, even the passive is different. The main difference between the held items, as we can see, the basic effect at +5, we get 1 layer of Urshifu combo effect at the start of the battle, with 14% chance of getting another layer when releasing water type attacks. But if we go inside the held item, and we can see the double star effect over here, 2-star effects, right? If held by Overlord Urshifu, it can become Super Dynamax, gets 3 layers of the combo effect. So as you guys can understand, the higher the held item is, the more layers you get on battle start, and 50% chance of getting another layer of the Urshifu's buff. The effect of the 2-star held item, it's basically a Quick Claw, which is a 40% chance of increasing your own Pokemon speed by 100% for 1 round. As we can see, our passive is just much better, which is every time you are attacked, you are increasing your skill power by 10%, and also it says that dispels all buffs and Guardian Souls for all enemy Pokemon before each move, which means that every time that you move, Pokemons do not have buffs, Pokemons do not have shields, Pokemons do not have Guardian Souls. And of course, when I say Pokemons, I mean enemy Pokemons. On his Aqua Jet, which is still 40 skill power, they could increase this, but we have permanent buffs. As we can see over there, it says that if we have 3 stacks, we increase our skill power by 30%, and if we have 5 stacks, we increase our physical attack by 20%. And all of this is actually permanent. So for example, I actually do have Line Strike, so I'm increasing my physical attack by 8% on each round. But right now I have 637k physical attack. I'm just going to use this one over here. That's okay, I have 5 stacks, I'm still at 637k. Now, I'm going to jump 667. That was because of Line Strike, right? But now, when I'm going to use this attack should increase my physical attack by 20% permanently. So, 667k, right? We are at 805k, and we can use it again? I mean, it should have no limit, right? Okay, I lost a little bit. I'm not sure where from. Oh, so it's working nicely. What I lost was my second ability, which only lasts for 3 rounds, which is our Pokemon are immune to debuffs, control effects, and it's increased 20% speed, physical attack, special attack, etc. So I lost physical attack 20% over here because of the second ability only lasting for 3 rounds. Okay, but this is working fine, and apparently every 3 tiers we increase our skill power by 30%, and every 5 tiers of buff we increase our own physical attack by 20%. And all of this, it seems like it's infinitely stacking, and the Z version, the only thing that it's different, well, deals Reaper damage, and the skill can inflict at least 1 times restriction to the enemy, so it feels like actually very decent. The buff over here has actually something very interesting. Increase your own speed by 20% permanently and cannot be stacked. So this one cannot be stacked. We are over here, for example, at 122k speed, and we just use this and we are supposed to get a little bit more speed. Yes, exactly. So it increases our speed permanently. And then over here as well, if our water type Pokemon is attacked, so that's why we also want to play with a Kyogre, we give Kyogre a spotlight effect. They are forced to attack Kyogre. So if your water type Pokemon is attacked, also increases Urshifu action points at least once. Once for each water type Pokemon of your team that is going to get attacked in that battle. Now, the Z buff is actually very interesting for the early game, which means that all the Pokemons with the Spotlight also get the 20% max HP shield. That's not just Urshifu, but if a Pokemon with Spotlight is in your team, it gets the shield as well, which helps, well, of course, your Spotlight Pokemon to just be tankier and survive a little bit longer. And as we are about to see, this automatically increases our action points of our Urshifu if our water type Pokemon is attacked. The fighting type skill is exactly the same as the Overlord, so there's no point on showcasing it. And the ultimate is also basically exactly the same, with the difference that this one can hit Pokemon if they are flying, diving, burrowing, etc. And the Z one, the only big difference is that it increases the skill power for all water type Pokemon by 30%. So going for a final test over here with the Overlord Kyogre and now with the health item. Let's see if this actually helps us out. We still have 3 stacks of buff, so we are kinda behind. Let's go and kill the Zoroark actually. No, we don't want to kill the Zoroark. It's okay, I believe. We try to use the water move, also still not dealing too much damage. Still not dealing too much damage. One of the problems that I think that this Pokemon has is that, like, this feels like it's a late game Pokemon in terms of in battle you want to stack up your buff in order so that you can basically just attempt to deal damage, right? But if we want to try and stack up our buffs, right now I'm trying to stack up, like, for example, more skill power or something like that so that we can deal more damage. But actually, what happens is this Pokemon is not a tank. It doesn't have any skills that actually provide him with tanky stats. Like, if we could have some kind of, I don't know, damage reduction, if we could have some kind of, like, something that would give us survivability, it would be a good Pokemon. But right now, I am not enjoying what I am seeing. And right now, only the ultimate seems to be dealing damage. And if I want to try and deal damage with any other skill, I'm not dealing damage with any other skill. And just to show you guys a different skill order, a different approach that I might be taking over here. So I'm actually going to save my Z water move. I am going to try and, I don't know, kill the Zoroark and now ultimate this Hoopa. For some reason, I am not dealing enough damage. Okay. And now, using my Z water move, which a lot of people were interested about since it also deals Reaper damage, and as you guys can see, I have 5 stacks. So technically, I have all of the buffs over here. We have 100% extra crit damage. We will get 30% skill power. We have crit rate. We have permanent physical attack. But the problem is, it's 40 skill power. Only 40 skill power. So, as you can understand, the damage is not much if you only have 40 skill power. Let's go over here and make this Pokemon Dynamax. But before making your Pokemon Dynamax, be sure to remove your held item, otherwise it's going to ask you, well, Dynamax stamps that you probably don't have. So for those who are thinking about making him Dynamax, let's actually remove the held item. We just go over here, and boom, we can make our Pokemon Dynamax. Let's go. Dynamax Urshifu, and of course I'm not going to test the normal Dynamax Urshifu. Whoever gets Dynamax will have his held item for sure, so we are going to equip it, and boom, look at this, it actually looks beautiful. Okay, right now we notice that we have a big nerf compared to the Dynamax, which is we have a midget Super Dynamax. Does this happen because of the held item? Let me see, let me try it out. Actually, it happens because of the held item. Oh god, no, this actually looks so bad. Look, we have a midget. Okay. Now, first of all, I cannot test this to the full potential because I cannot max the Dynamax shield over here. But let's go and give this bad boy a try, okay? He looks awesome. It's just so bad that he is small. He should not be small. So we are just going to play the normal way that we usually play. We are just going to use our Kyogre buff and stuff. We are going to try and kill the enemy. Should I use my buff? I'll use my buff. I guess I'll use my buff like this, trying to stack up to the 5 tiers of passive and see if this matters anything. Dude, so close. Okay. So close, we are just ultimating over here, and it's pointless. It feels pointless. Like, okay, we have our ultimate back up again, but right now we are going to die. We are basically just going to die. Okay, now I changed to Mesprit, trying to get this this passive off right now. I started with 3 stacks. I should have 100% crit damage. So if I just ultimate round 1, I will kill an enemy. Okay, I get 1 stack of my Dynamax thing because I killed an enemy. And now what? Now I should... he has ultimate. He will just for sure screw me up, so I'm going to do it like this. Get myself a shield, which will not be enough, of course. And now I have our Dynamax skill. And what is the Dynamax skill? Deals water type physical attack damage, gets 1 tier of exclusive combat effect, increases your own physical attack and both defenses by 15% for 2 rounds, cannot be removed or absorbed, can act after moving, and the skill hits anywhere. So basically it's just a buff. Dynamax skill, it's actually looking very nice. Usually the Dynamax skills don't look this nice, so this one actually looks very nice, and we can just use our ultimate. Yay! But sadly, or, well, now we actually got to move again, but now we have 2 options. With 5 stacks, we can either go for our Aqua Jet, which gives us like a lot of skill power, crit damage, etc., or go for the Defining move. Honestly, even though this one is for a skill power, I feel like it should be dealing more damage. And as you can see, it seems like a little bit more damage than the Overlord, but it's just a little bit because we used the Dynamax skill, etc., so we got a little bit more damage, for sure. But honestly, it feels like this Pokemon, first of all, he's a midget, they should fix that. Second of all, it just doesn't deal damage with the other skills. Only the ultimate with the 5 stacks can actually deal some decent damage. So, my opinion, it's not a meta Pokemon. It can be a Pokemon for fun. True, especially in early games, since he has access to shields. He removes enemy shields and buffs, so it's not a horrible Pokemon, but it's not a meta Pokemon for sure. This is the end of my... Oh, wow. Oh! This is the end of my review. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and as always, see you guys on the next video.